Good morning, students. Today we shall start with the last lesson of your main textbook, First Flight, and the name of the lesson is The Proposal, written by Anton Chekhov, who is a Russian author. This lesson is a play that includes several characters and also mentions about important places. So very quickly, we will discuss about the prominent characters and the places that appear in this play. The first one is Stepan Stepanovich Chubukov, who is a landowner. Next, Natalia Stepanova, Chubukov's daughter, and her age is 25. Third main character is Ivan Vasilievich Lomov, who is Chubukov's neighbor, and he is also a landowner. In the play, we also find the mention of Oxen Meadows, that is a debatable topic existing between Natalia and Lomov. Also, there is a discussion about burnt marshlands of Chubukovs, discussion about birch woods, that is the woods that belongs to Chubukov, and there will be discussions about dog gas that belongs to Lomov, Squeezer, the dog that belongs to Chubukov, Mirinov is a person from whom dog gas was purchased, and then there will be a mention about Nastasia Mihailovna, who happens to be the younger aunt of Lomov. Dear students, for your convenience, I have divided the entire lesson into different subheadings, and very quickly we will be discussing it one by one. The first major subheading is about Lomov, who arrives at Chubukov's house. So the play begins with the scene set in Chubukov's house. Lomov comes there and meets Chubukov. Chubukov is extremely happy to meet him. He asks him to sit down and also inquires why was he wearing an evening dress. Lomov tells him that he has come there with a purpose. He tells him that he wants to request him about something. Suddenly he gets excited. Chubukov feels that he must have come to borrow money from him. Lomov starts to speak and talks about random things. Finally, he tells him that he has come there to ask for Natalia's hand, who is Chubukov's daughter. Listening to this, Chubukov gets excited and at once gives his consent for this alliance. Next major subheading tells us about Chubukov's reaction to the proposal. Chubukov gets so happy that he starts behaving idiotically. He hugs Lomov and kisses him. Lomov asks Chubukov that he wants his consent for the marriage. Chubukov tells him that he was always hoping that he would come to ask for Natalia's hand. Third major heading is about Lomov, who is thinking about Natalia and his life. Lomov starts trembling due to overexcitement. He says that if he would have looked for a perfect partner, he would have never got one and would have remained unmarried. He feels that Natalia is a good housekeeper. He says that she is not bad looking and is very well educated. He feels he is already too old to get married and now he should lead a quiet and regular life. And so he starts jumping like a mad. person. Next subdivision will tell us about the conversation that takes place between Lomov and Natalia. Natalia comes and asks Lomov why had he not come there for a long time. He informs Lomov about the harvest. She asks him why was he dressed in an evening dress and inquired if he was going to the ball party. Before Lomov told Natalia his purpose for the visit, they were off the point. He starts telling her that he has known his family for a very long time. He also tells her how he inherited his land and how he respects her father. He tells Natalia that his oxen meadows touch Natalia's birchwood. On hearing this, Natalia says that the oxen meadows are theirs. Next major heading tells us about the argument regarding land ownership. Natalia gets serious and tells him that oxen meadows do not belong to him. They actually belong to them. Lomov clarifies that he is talking about the oxen meadows that are between her birchwoods and Thunt Marsh. Natalia insists that they are theirs. Lomov refuses it. He tells her that his aunt's grandmother gave those meadows to her father's grandfather. The peasants used the land for 40 years. Even in the next major subdivision, the argument will continue between Natalia and Lomov. Natalia refuses and sticks on her points that those meadows are theirs. Lomov, on the other hand, says that he has the documents to prove that it is his land. Natalia tells him that they had that land for nearly 300 years now. Both of them continue fighting over the ownership of the land. Lomov offers to make a present of them to Natalia. She also says that she can make a present of them to him. They start shouting at each other. Next subheading tells us about Chubukov, who takes his daughter Natalia's side. Chubukov also enters the room. Natalia asks him to tell Lomov that the oxen meadows are owned by them. Chubukov also supports Natalia and regards the meadows as theirs. Lomov refuses. Chubukov says that by shouting, Lomov cannot prove that the oxen meadows are owned by him. He accuses Lomov by saying that he cannot talk to him so disrespectfully as he is twice of his age. Lomov says that he is calling his land as his and wants him to speak to him politely. He calls Chubukov a land grabber. Lomov threatens that he would take Chubukov to the court. A lot of abuses are exchanged between them. Chubukov says that Lomov's grandfather was a drunkard. His younger aunt, Nastasia, ran away with an architect. Lomov felt that he was dying, so he could not say anything at that time. Natalia also calls Lomov a rascal. Chubukov calls him a villain and a scarecrow. He also calls him a monster who has the courage to propose. Next subheadings tells us about Chubukov, who finally reveals Natalia the purpose of Lomov's visit. As soon as Lomov leaves their home, Chubukov tells Natalia that he came to propose her. Hearing the word propose, Natalia inquires him. Chubukov tells him that Lomov had come there to propose Natalia for marriage. Hearing this, Natalia starts crying. She asks Chubukov to bring Lomov back at once. Next subheadings tells us about the fight that happens over the dogs. Lomov enters again. Natalia begins to be excused. They shift their talks to the dogs as Natalia tells him that the oxen meadows are his. They now talk about the dogs. Lomov tells Natalia that his best dogs costed him 125 rubles. Natalia says that that is too much. She tells him that her father had given just 85 rubles for the Squeezer, her dog. She says Squeezer is better than his dog. Lomov refuses and says that his lower jaw is shorter than his upper jaw. Natalia says that Squeezer is of the finest pedigree. They both continue fighting over the breed of their dogs. Chubukov enters and inquires about the matter. Chubukov also says that Lomov's dog is old and short. Finally, in the next major subheading, Lomov drops to the ground. Lomov suddenly falls. Natalia asks her father what has happened to him. Chubukov thinks that he has difficulty in breathing. Natalia says that she feels Lomov is dead. Chubukov then calls for water as well as a doctor. Last major heading, Chubukov asks Lomov to marry Natalia. Chubukov seems helpless. He starts accusing himself. He asks for a knife and a pistol. He calls himself the most unhappy of men. Lomov starts reviving. Lomov says he sees stars before his eyes. He asks where he is. Chubukov says that he should hurry up and marry Natalia. He also tells him that she is willing to marry him. Natalia becomes extremely happy on hearing this. Chibukov also feels happy and sam- offers some champagne for this occasion. And that's how the play ends. This play has made, the proposal to be the least important thing for Chibukov, Lomov, and Natalia. For them, marriage was all about a state of compromise to suit their business interests. For Lomov, it was he was getting into an alliance simply because he was advancing towards old age. So that's how the story ends. Dear students, in the next class, you will be provided with worksheets. Thank you.